Well, hello, my friends. We continue our journey through the valley of the shadow of statistics, and in this particular video, we will move forward from population and sample to discuss data and the types of data that we may be utilizing in our studies. We will start out with the types of data, and what does the term data mean? Data refers to a set of values. Now notice that does not say data refers to a value. Data refers to a set of values. Data is a plural term, and the singular of data is datum. When we are talking about one value, we are referencing a datum. When we are looking at a set of values, we are examining data. Now, which of the following is correct? And look at these two statements. The data is of interest to us and the data are of interest to us. Well, the one that is correct is this one right here. The data are of interest to us. If we replaced data with a plural term such as elephants, you would never say the elephants is of interest, you would say the elephants are of interest. So the correct use is the data are of interest to us, because data refers to a set of values and data is a plural term. We might examine a datum. The datum is of interest to us, the data are of interest to us. Now, in the types of data, the first type of data, the broader type of data, are called nominal data. Nominal data can be grouped. For instance, we might have might group people into female or male. Now, these are just classifications. We would never argue that one is ranked above another. We might argue that, but in East Texas they have a saying that says, watch a man that says he's the head of his house, he'll lie about other things. Nominal data are data that can be grouped. For instance, we might have cows and tree frogs. We might look at another type of data now. Nominal data can be grouped, but ordinal data are a type of nominal data that can be ranked. On a Likert scale, rate my instruction at 4, excellent, 3 good, 2 below average, 1 is poor. Now, I do want to point something out. The Likert scale was developed by George Likert, but it's called a Likert scale. And if you want to really sound foolish, go tell people you're using a Likert scale. I will point out to you that Halley's Comet was discovered by Edmund Halley as well. So there's a long tradition of this in the sciences of mispronouncing names. But a Likert scale is ordinal data because the 4, 3, 2, 1 rating is not consistent among all people. My wife and I might go to the hotel and I might rate it as a 4. She might rate it as a 3. I might say, well, why did you rate it as a 3? She would say, well, a 4 to me is like what we stayed at when we went to Cozumel and stayed in a junior suite. Well, I might say, but I consider it excellent because it's a nice room. So you see the Likert scale, these can be ranked by people, but the rankings are not solid. They differ from person to person. The same is true of a grade. Have you ever found that an A with one teacher is not equivalent to an A with another teacher and not equivalent to an A with another teacher? A, B, C, and F are an example of ordinal data. Interval data are data that can be ranked, but they have equal spaces between the rankings. Blood pressure readings, for instance. A blood pressure reading of 160 over 85. The pressures are equally spaced. However, it doesn't make sense to compare a blood pressure reading of 160 over 80 and say that that's double 80 over 40. They're equally spaced, but it does not make good sense to compare them on a ratio basis. The most powerful type of data are ratio data. Ratio data are data for which it makes sense to compare. For instance, cost. Something costs 100 dirham costs twice as much as something that costs 50 dirham. Something that costs 500 euros cost half as much as something that costs €1,000. Cost makes sense to compare, and costs are a good form of ratio data. Distance, percents, 70% is twice as much as 35%. So most of the things that we do initially, we're going to do with ratio data where it makes sense to compare those data. Now later on we will see that statistics and quantitative analysis can be used to handle other types of data such as interval, ordinal, and even nominal data. Now, I want you to think about this just a moment. If we take nominal data out of all the types of data, some data are not nominal. They just can't even be classified. But inside nominal data, we find ordinal data. Ordinal data are nominal data that can be rank ordered. Inside ordinal data, we have interval data. They are equally spaced. Interval data are ordinal data that are also nominal data. Nominal data include a subset called ordinal data. Ordinal data have a subset called interval data. And then we find ratio data inside interval data. I want you to think about this just a minute. Ratio data are nominal data that can be rank ordered, that are equally spaced, and that make sense to compare. Ratio data are often said to be data that have an absolute zero, because if you have a zero, then you can be compared, and that's one way of discussing ratio data. But ratio data are nominal data. Ratio data are ordinal data. Ratio data are interval data. But there are very special cases of nominal, ordinal, and interval data. Now, 6 new terms to know. Data, values in a population or sample. Data, a single value in a population or sample. Nominal data can be grouped. Ordinal data can be ranked. Interval data are equally spaced, and ratio data may be compared. Now, you continue your journey through the land of nerd. You're gaining steam. You keep working on this, and one day you may indeed be a full-fledged nerd. And from those of us who are full-fledged nerds, we're very proud of you, because we want you to come over and join us in the land of nerd. I want to thank you very much for your support. Again, may the odds be ever in your favor. As I said before, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.